What up guys, it's Dragon Ball for Life here today and I'm back with another video. Now today's video we're going to be discussing and reviewing chapter 89 of Dragon Ball Super's manga. Now this chapter was quite interesting and there's some stuff that I liked about it and other things I think was okay. It wasn't a bad chapter as a whole, but for a lot of, Dragon Ball fans that want more action or more, intense story, it might not be for you guys. So just know that these, few chapters, because I don't think they're going to last for too long. I think they're going to be like a handful of chapters, maybe 5 or 6 chapters of Goten and Trunks' journey. It might not be as important or as entertaining as what we've been getting in the granola arc, but it's still quite fun to see, how the lead up to the Dragon Ball superhero movie and how it went, and see through the journey of Goten and Trunks, because Goten and Trunks are quite interesting. They're they're characters that have been stagnant for a long time in their progression, not only in their character design and their age, but also in and who they are, and us seeing throughout what they do. Because ever since they got introduced in the Buu saga, we thought that they would have like a far more importance throughout the Dragon Ball story. They didn't have anything to do in GT, and even with Dragon Ball Super coming back, we had Trunks and Goten doing absolutely nothing. So it is quite interesting to see this little manga going throughout their journey, and I think it's pretty cool. I know some people might not like it, but for me personally, I just think it's quite interesting to see, how they deal with their personal stuff in life, and I just like seeing the slice of life stuff mixed in a little bit with story. So let's get through the story. Now it starts off with Trunks, he got the CD. He's trying to check it out digitally, and he's trying to check out the data and information from it. And this is where we get, on the computer screen, a little baby cell. We see a cell fetus, which means at this point, Hito would probably be working with, I think it was Magenta was the name. He's either working with him, or the Red Ribbon Army created this, Cell Max first, and they realized that they were just out of their depth, so they needed somebody like Hito who is intelligent to do it. So it's kind of weird and iffy on the chronology of that. Is this before he went to prison and got broken out by Magenta, or is this afterwards? He did mention something about doing, owning that sushi place before he got busted down by Trunks and Goten to make a profit. But if he's working under him, he should already got the profit to pay to make things. So I guess that would be not the case. But then it's like, well, was the Red Ribbon Army still smart enough to create Cell Max on their own? So that means they created him. It's just that he helped out and amplified it. So I guess I was just confused on that in the movie. Maybe I didn't see that or hear that when it happened in the movie itself. But we start off with him trying to see it, and he sees a little bit of the baby Cell. Or no, actually, never mind. I was wrong. It was it was Hito's thing. So he was already creating Cell Max from the beginning. So I'm kind of confused then, because from what they said in the movie, they said Magenta was the one who told him to create Cell Max. He first wanted to create Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, and then what's his name? Magenta saw it as, these androids are powerful, but he didn't see them as, conquesting type of androids. They were more of a heroic type, and he knew that they wouldn't, one, be powerful enough, and two, they aren't, vicious enough. So that's why he was having Hito create Cell Max as the, big threat monster that he would use. But seeing as how this was off of Hito's files, did he have the plans for this before? What was he going to do? Because we know Hito is not, evil. He was kind of misdirected by Magenta to think that the Z Fighters are evil aliens trying to, invade Earth and destroy Earth or whatever. But it's like, why was he creating that? I get the androids, but why did he create Cell? And it makes sense for Magenta knowing about Cell Max, but like, I guess he would know about Cell, but then again, he didn't know about how Cell's designed. I don't know, it's confusing. It doesn't matter. What happens is he has this, and by doing this, there's a virus, and Bulma comes in. She's like, hey, are you messing with my laptop? And she comes in with Bola, which she's now a little kid. It makes sense. If Pan is a kid, she should be a kid too. I think Pan is a little bit older than her, but they're still pretty much around the same age. But she comes in, and we have a little interesting discussion with Bulma and him. Bulma mentions that Trunks is more like Vegeta, and we see Bulma. She was playing with the laptop that got the virus, and she fixed it instantly. And if you guys seen the read the Jocko Galactic Patrolman, manga, in that one, we had a 6-year-old Bulma coming in to fix his ship, showcasing her intelligence and how smart she is. And we see this also with the daughter. And she does mention that he's more Trunks is more like Vegeta, whereas she's more like her. So I thought that was pretty interesting because that showcases Trunks. He might be definitely intelligent and has some level of intelligence, definitely more than Goten, but he's not the intellectual type either. He's just, he's just regularly smart, where he's just really powerful where he gets it from his dad, obviously, and he's more of, the guy that likes to fight, whereas his sister is probably, obviously has power, but she's probably not that powerful, but is more of an intelligent type, just like her mom, and she's shown her high level of intelligence already there. So I just thought that was cool, but he's like, well, whatever. He goes to school, and as he's going to school, we have Mai coming into school. He has to go there to introduce, Mai. Bulma brings her and says, hey, take her to the high school. So she's coming to there now, and, she's getting introduced. And then we have a new student that's introduced named, I think, Beta, or Beta is the way they, kind of like pronunciated it. Obviously, it's a synonym for the word beta, like beta 1, beta 2, beta testing. But he's also a beta male. But he comes in, and people are saying that he's Trunks' rival. But we get a little more on what's happening with him and Trunks. So he comes in. Mai is there. Trunks is trying to obviously show off to Mai, trying to impress her and stuff, which it does get a little annoying at some points in this manga, but it's also kind of funny. So this new guy comes in, and Trunks is kind of worried that Mai might get hit on by the other guy, so he's acting like a protective simp and shit. So I'll just let you guys know right now. Trunks does simp quite a bit at this point. He was simping a little bit in Super with Mai, but he was a kid in that one. Now he's too old to be simping like this. But yeah, we have this guy, and what happens is Trunks is playing basketball. So he's playing basketball and he's showing off. He's being an idiot. He's just showing off to Mai because he wants her to be impressed by his moves, and he's not really holding back. This is interesting. I'll get into it a little bit later, but yeah, he's playing basketball and then he's showing off his his skills. And Beta comes in, he starts playing basketball, and he starts to run past him with the ball. And Trunks sees this, and he uses his super speed to dash right in front of the hoop so he can block it. But he gets around him and does a layup. But he was literally showcasing his superpowers in front of everybody just to impress Mai. Now, there's a couple things I want to talk about this basketball thing. One, it was stupid for him to do that. Like, you're showing off your power, and you're supposed to have a secret identity, both with who you are and your superhero thing, but you're so stupid that just to impress a girl, you will show your power right there. So he's that much of a simp that he wants to impress Mai so badly that he will even showcase that he has powers in front of other people when he has a superhero secret identity and just his regular identity of having superpowers. He's willing to disclose that and show that simply to impress her. Lame as hell. But also, I thought it was pretty cool that they were playing basketball. I love basketball. I think it's a cool sport, and it's just cool to see in Dragon Ball. We've only really seen them play baseball, which is pretty big in Japan. Basketball is also kind of big, but not as big as baseball. So it's cool to see Trunks playing basketball. First, we had Trunks having 2 black friends, and now Trunks, or he had at least one. The other one was Goten's friend, but him having a black friend, and now him also playing basketball. I think he wants to get invited to the cookout. No, I'm just joking, but I think it's cool to see that. Like I said, I really like seeing real world stuff, and I like seeing more stuff. So seeing them play like sports and stuff, I don't know. For me, it's one of those weird things that I see, and I'm just like, that's pretty cool to see. So yeah, he was playing basketball, so I thought that was cool that they had him playing basketball. But I do think it was stupid that he showed off that much. He was that much of a simp that he wanted to impress her that he would do something that reckless. And he does this, and we find out that this new student is basically he's Giro's one of Dr. Giro's androids. Though unlike the other ones, he's not really decomposed. You do see later a little bit later on in an image where his neck part of it's missing, so he is a corpse, and he has like embedded implants and stuff to make him move around and do stuff. But unlike the other ones, he's a far more, I guess, like fresh and well preserved corpse that he used. But yeah, now the reason why he had him going to the high school is he knew two high schoolers from the school. Obviously, in the last one with a pin from that school attacked. So he wants to find out who it is, and he has him as an inside spy to look for it, which I thought was pretty cool. And he assumes it's Trunks because of what he did in basketball, which was, like I said, a stupid thing to do. So he tries to test him out, doing multiple different things. Throws a football, he dodges it by going down to tie a shoelace. He throws a baseball, he dodges that too. He throws a soup, he moves and catches it. So he's just he knows that guy's trying to like trip him up, but he's now he got his guard up. And then we see when he throws the baseball, it goes and moves over, and then we see Goten also being a dumbass, lifting up a whole ass truck with one hand, picking up the ball nonchalantly. Like, you have this idiot moving at super speed, dashing from one end to another instantly. Then you have this dumbass lifting up a car casually just to pick up a ball. He couldn't just, go underneath it, and he's like, oh shit, I almost got exposed. I'm like, are you guys stupid? Like, at that point I was like, these guys are dumbasses. I get it, they're teenagers, but they're unbelievably dumb. Like, how do you have even a secret identity at all and be this blatantly obvious? It's just dumb. But yeah, this happens. Then the guy sees Goten doing this, and he assumes that now it's Goten who's the one who did it and not Trunks. So he's trying to fight Goten. Goten is trying to hold back. He's not trying to show off any more of his power. So Trunks realizes, he's like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. He gets this bracelet thing on, and then he has his costume on, and then he starts fighting him. So they're like, oh, Seiya 1 is he's the guy. So he's fighting him back and forth, and he gives Goten his bracelet so he can come in. And as he's doing this, he's beating the shit out of this guy. He kicks the guy and sends him flying. He smashes through the football field, and he's now in a bad position where he has to use a robot, and those generic mech suits that we've seen all of the time throughout Dragon Ball, which never work. It kind of looks like the robot suits from Captain Underpants. If any of you guys read any of the Captain Underpants books, I'm pretty sure you guys have. Let's be honest. If you're 20 something or younger, you've definitely read Captain Underpants as a kid. So it kind of looks like the robots there. It always looks goofy to me. Also, another thing, side note, I know might seem unimportant to other people, but I think it's very cool that they had a football field there. I don't know if Japan plays football. I thought they would play European, not European, but how we call it soccer. I thought they would just show soccer. So it was cool to see basketball and football, which that's America's some of America's biggest sports, which I know like it has nothing to do with anything. I just think it's cool to see basketball and football. It kind of has more of a wide appeal to people that are outside of Japan, because I've never really seen animes have like an American football field, so that was cool. And the other guy had an American football lead through, so that's pretty dope to see. But yeah, he kicks him there. He has his machine there. He tries to fight him. He's still getting his ass beat. So he's like, you know what, screw this. I'm going to let off my bottom part and fire off missiles, because he saw Mai with a disc. He was there to get the disc back. So he's chasing after her, and Trunks can't go after her because the missiles are going to hit the people. So he's literally like blocking them and destroying them, which I thought that was pretty cool, him destroying that. And he's going off, but then Goten comes in, destroys the legs, and it lets Trunks to go save Mai. He jumps in. He literally does a move where he shoots out wind from his hand, obliterates the machine easily, catches Mai, and as he catches Mai envisions Trunks, the future one, where we saw his ass con stuff, which I thought that was pretty cool to see. So she envisioned Trunks, and this Trunks doesn't know that that's the one that she saw, so he's probably gonna, if he finds out, he's gonna be salty about it. But that happens, they destroy it, they beat the guy. Dr. Hiro is watching this as it's happening, and he's like pissed. He's like, damn it, they fooled my plan again. I just wanted that disc. And they do this, and Trunks almost exposes once again. He almost tells Mai, "Hey Mai, I'm Seiya one," and Goten has to stop him this time because he was in front of everybody. He would have blurted that shit out. Once again, two of the dumbest people to have a fucking secret identity and pretend to be superheroes and hide it from anybody. Like, I get it, Gohan was dumb too, but at least Gohan's exposure was mainly close to only one person, which was Videl. Whereas these two dumbasses, they're gonna get exposed in front of everybody else. Also, I wanted to mention, I thought it was pretty funny that that Trunks' friend, she was like, when she saw Beta like transform into his superhero costume, because Dr. Hero loves superheroes, she was like, "That is so cringy." Like, or no, it was I think it was Trunks. Trunks was like, "That costume looks so cringy." I was laughing. I was like, "That's hilarious." He's right. That costume was cringy, but it was also funny because Trunks' friend, the black girl, she was like, I think her name is Ruler. She was basically, she's like, "Those heroes are great, but they're kind of corny." I was just laughing. I was like, yeah, that's true. But they do that. They save the day. They leave. They're leaving, and Dr. Hero is just ending off with him talking to his guys, and he's just basically geeking out about, "Oh my god, superheroes are so cool. Their powers are so cool," and then he's talking about their costumes are so cool. And this is quite interesting because people, I think they mentioned it, some people, I just didn't watch it because there's tons of spoiler videos talking about, oh, this and that. I don't watch those. I want to wait for the manga to come out. But I guess they're right that Goten and Trunks inspired Hiro to make Gamma 1 and 2 because their costume design is kind of off of them, and the superhero thing. He obviously had a little bit of superhero stuff, but completely based off them. So he saw them being superheroes, so he made superheroes of his own. And he even mentioned how he liked Gamma 2, not Gamma 2, Sandman 2's, cape, his red cape. That's what he used for his Gammas. So we can thank the design, costume design, and the superhero idea from Goten and Trunks, and also the power increase, because those other androids were pretty strong for android standards, but they were still pretty weak compared to them. So he created Gamma 1 and 2 strength based off of them. So that means it's all thanks to Goten and Trunks that Gamma 1 and 2 were designed that way, were made to be superheroes, and made to be that OP. So, I mean, it worked out in the ending because in the superhero movie, they did switch sides to the good side. And they also showcase that Dr. Hiro assumed that they were villains. He's obviously not a bad guy, which I do think is interesting. So that was pretty interesting. It was not that eventful, but it was still pretty fun and entertaining. It was cool to see them play basketball. It was annoying to see them be dumbasses. It was cool to see, a little bit of a fight, and the fact that Hiro's plans and what he was able to develop was based off of what Goten and Trunks did. I just think that was pretty cool. So that's where he got the ideas from. Though I'm a little confused on the Cell Max thing. Maybe some of you guys can, explain it to me better. Maybe I'm being an idiot. Maybe if I just think about it a little more, I'll get the gist of what's happening there. But I'm just a little confused if I'm being honest with that. I think those things are cool. I do think it's pretty lame to see Trunks simp over Mai so much. I'm like, dude, you're really doing this to just simp. So I didn't like that, but one thing I really do want to talk about, and I mentioned this when I did my Dragon Ball Superheroes review, I mentioned that since Hiro is not a bad guy, and he's very smart, and he's clearly, is going to help them out and stuff, he could definitely potentially have, a bigger role as the story progresses, and they're leading up to it, his intelligence and, just his good nature. So since Black Frieza is going to be such a big threat and such a big danger, and they need help, and I'm assuming there's going to be some insane war arc where Black Frieza is going to create, he's going to once and for all take down all of his enemies and conquer the universe as a whole, and even probably deal with Beerus because he sees him as a big obstacle in his way also. So I see him going after that. But I think Dr. Hiro might come in as the clutch MVP to help them win. And some of you guys will say, well, why do you say that? They had a focus on him in the movie, and he obviously had potential, but he just was misled. And with his potential and Bulma's potential and his ability to make stuff stronger, them working together, they can create some really impressive stuff. If he can create those androids like that, can you imagine what he can do with, with all the other added information and help from, Capsule Corp's funding, and then also help from Bulma? It's going to be insane what he can do. based off of that. But I'm saying this because this is just my assumption. I could be wrong, but my guess is going to be Frieza is going to be too much of a threat for all of them, even with Gohan and Piccolo's power ups. That's going to help them out to be, more on equal footing to handle him, but he will still be too OP for them. So what do they need? They need additional help. And how are they going to get that? They're going to get help from a scientist, and that thing I think is going to be Hito. I think he's either going to create something to help them out, because he created Cell Max that was that powerful, and if you can create a being that powerful from that, guess what he can do with Capsule Corp's, funds and Bulma's help and Dr. Brief's help. He can make some crazy ass shit. So if he does see Black Frieza as a supervillain, which he should be, Black Frieza is completely evil. He's a big threat. He's threatening the universe. Dr. Hero wants to do heroics with his science, and he tried to, but he was misled the first time. But now he knows who are the good guys. He has the ability to do it, and he has the drive. So the way I see it is, Goku and Vegeta and all these other guys, they're gonna, be fighting against Black Frieza. Black Frieza's gonna show off more of his power. He's gonna be too much of a threat. Maybe at some point they might be able to do some pushback, but he will surpass them because of how, crazy his potential is. And they're in a bad situation, and the person to come in clutch is Dr. Hito. He has two ways of saving the day and being the MVP in the ending. One, he either creates something to help them out, like one of the superheroes to help them out to beat him, or two, he creates something to help Goku and Vegeta and all of them to train to get stronger so they can beat him. So, how Dr. Briefs created the not hyperbolic time chamber, the gravity chamber inside the ship to get them stronger. He could probably create some training thing or something that makes them so much stronger that they surpass Frieza and beat him once and for all. But I do think that he's going to have a big part to play in this next arc. And the reason why they're talking about this and lean to the hero stuff, because yes, Goten and Trunks, it's fun to see that, but what's the importance? Why would they put this in the middle of some important story like this? And the only thing I can come up with is, they showed him in the movie, they showed him in this, he has to have some importance. He I think is going to be the underdog, because, and it would be pretty cool to think about it, Frieza's assuming that, hey, I just have to worry about these guys, they're powerful, these are like my only enemies I have to worry about is very powerful people. But he sees Dr. Hiro probably as a smart person, but he's just a smart person. What is he gonna do? He can't do anything, especially with his technology. But Dr. Hiro, he's smart, he's dealt with this, and he knows how to deal with it. And as Frieza, he would kind of look down on him as a nobody. His main focus would be on Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, and Gohan. He'd be like, oh, these guys, these are real threats. Whereas Dr. Hiro would be that secretly hidden threat where he's not threatening physically, but he can build up a threat. So he will either create something that beats Frieza, and Frieza will be like, what the fuck? Where did this come from? Or, more likely, he will do something with his technology that will help aid the heroes and get them stronger to the point where they can surpass Black Frieza. And that's one of the detail that I think he's going to, overlook is he's not going to view him as a threat. He's going to overlook what he's capable of, and then when it's too late, he's going to be the one coming in to save the day, and they're like, okay, you made up for what you did there and stuff. And I think he's going to be a regular character with them to help them get stronger. Hopefully that's the case, because I really like Hito. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty funny to see that, it's cool to see the grandson of Dr. Gero, such an evil man, is such a morally, good person. Yes, he has some flaws. Getting corpses and creating androids out of them is wrong, but he's not morally evil. He just does some stuff that's just questionable at best, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I think it was pretty cool, pretty interesting. I just want to see where it's leading up. It does seem like they have somewhat of a plan, at least with him. They're just building up his story and doing a little bit of prelogue to not prelogue, preluding to the movie and how some of the events led up to it. But yeah, pretty decent manga stuff. I'm not expecting anything too crazy, just some fun and entertaining stuff, some slice of life stuff, seeing some cool stuff like that. But hopefully it's short. Hopefully it's like 5 or 6 chapters, because it is fun, but it doesn't need to be long. Make it 5 or 6 chapters and then get back into the Black Frieza arc and then try to fit into there. I think that would be pretty cool. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for next time.